In this video, I'm going to review how to solve inequalities by multiplying and dividing. You should have already completed the solve inequalities with addition and subtraction assignment. So we're going to solve and graph the solutions for these problems. Let's look at some examples. First, it says to solve each inequality and graph the solutions, and the problem is 3x is greater than negative 27. So this means 3 times x. So to solve that, we need to do the opposite of multiplying by 3, which is dividing by 3. So in this step, we see that we divided both sides by 3. 3x divided by 3 just leaves us with x, and then we put the greater than sign, and then negative 27 divided by 3 is negative 9. Then you need to graph the solution. So you would put an open circle at negative 9, and then you want all of the numbers greater than negative 9. So you draw an arrow to the right. The second example is an example where you would multiply both sides by the reciprocal of that fraction in order to get r by itself. We don't really have any problems on our worksheet that are exactly like that. So let's go on to what it means if you are multiplying or dividing by a negative number. This is super important. Make sure you pay attention to whether your original problem is being multiplied or divided by a negative number, because there's an extra step. On problem A here, we have negative 8 times x is greater than 72. So to solve, we'll divide by negative 8. When we divide by a negative number, you have to change the direction of the inequality. So because it was greater than, we have to change it to less than. So we divide both sides by negative 8. We change the less than to a greater than, and 72 divided by negative 8 is negative 9. So then we graph the solution. That would be an open circle at negative 9 and all the numbers to the left. In letter B, we're multiplying, or we're dividing. X is being divided by negative 5 here. So we have to multiply both sides by negative 5. And when you multiply by a negative number, you have to change the direction of the inequality. So it was less than or equal, it becomes greater than or equal. So make sure you pay attention to this information, because if you don't, you'll get the following problems wrong. For each of these, you need to write the solution and do the graph. So in number 1, it started for you. It's 2 times x. That's not a negative number, so we don't have to change the direction of the inequality. So once you divide both sides by 2, you'll be able to put your answer here and then graph it. Remember that for greater than or equal or less than or equal, you use a solid dot. For greater than or less than, you use an open circle. And then your arrows point the same direction as your inequality does, as long as the x, or the variable, is on the left side. Let's look at number 2, because there's a negative number. Number 2 says negative 3 times x is less than or equal to negative 9. So the opposite of multiplying by negative 3 is to divide by negative 3. And because we're dividing by a negative number, we have to switch the less than or equal to a greater than or equal. And then negative 9 divided by negative 3 would be a positive 3. So when we graph this, we'll go to 3, 1, 2, 3, put a solid dot, and then an arrow to the right. Let's look at another example. Number 3, you're going to multiply by a positive number. Another way of writing number 3 would be d over 3 is greater than 6. So to solve this, you're going to multiply both sides by 3, and that would cancel on the left side, so we're left with d is greater than 6 times 3 is 18. But there is no 18 on my number line, so you can just change your number line. I can say, well, I'm going to make this be 10 here instead of negative 5, and this would be 15, and this would be 20, and this would be 25. So d is greater than 18 would be 15, 16, 17, 18 right here, open circle, and an arrow to the right. So change the number lines if the numbers you need don't show up. Be careful in number 4, because when you divide both sides by 24, you'll get a fraction for this one. It'll be 1 over something. So you can just estimate. If it's 1/2, it would be right here. If it's 1/4, it would be right here. And you can estimate where the number should lie, where the closed circle should lie. Now let's look at one more problem. Let's look at number 6. In number 6, we have t divided by negative 6 is greater than or equal to negative 1. To solve this problem, you're going to multiply both sides by -6 because that will undo the divide by -6. So we cancel out and we get just t left on this side. But wait, I was supposed to do something to that inequality sign. It's not greater than. Because I multiplied by a negative number, I have to change this to less than or equal. And then this is -1 times -6 would be a +6. Now, if you don't have a marker tool, if you're not doing these by hand, you can insert a shape in order to make your number lines. So I'll use the circle shape or the oval shape. At t is less than or equal to 6, I would need a point at 6. And I want to fill my shape in. So let's go here to, I'll fill it in with a dark color. There we go. And then I need an arrow, so I'll insert an arrow from the Shapes menu. So just get a line with an arrow on the end, and I want all the numbers going this way. And you can change the color if you want. It was better the way it was before, there. Or you can just leave it however it shows up. And you'll do the rest of the problems the same way. Make sure when I'm checking your work, I need to see two things. I need to see the graph, and I need to see the solution, which for number 6 was the t is less than or equal to 6. You can also do these problems on your own paper, draw your own number lines, or you could print this and do it by hand, and then take a picture and attach it to the assignment. If you get stuck, please let me know. Make sure you do all of these problems. Make sure you remember to switch the direction of the inequality if you multiply or divide by a negative. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.